Hello and welcome to the Gunshot Explanation. The gunshot sound was originally a bit of bubble wrap. I was playing around with bubble wrap in front of a microphone. I was scrunching it up, mixing it around, moving it around, and also popping the bubbles. And at one point I found it was originally for a fire noise, but I thought with the lack of time, the sound it made for a fire noise I thought would be too resemblant to a fire. It was too similar to a real fire. So what I'm doing here is I found two pops which I thought fit very well with the timing of the gunshot. So I decided I'm going to take those two pops and I'm going to try and get them primarily in sync with the video, and then when I can get them in sync and I can get them sounding half decent, I'll line them up with the video. As you can see here, I've got them in sync with how I think they're going to be, without linking them to the video straight away. And then I decided I wanted to decrease the pitch of it by as far as it will go. This was to try and lengthen the sound so it sounded like the echo of a gunshot. However, as you can see here, I don't know whether it's... no, I think I've done it wrong on this one. I realised that the algorithm I was using was the free one, as in there's free and classic. Now in classic, what it does is if you decrease the pitch, it will lengthen the sample as well, and I wanted it to do that because I found that it just gave it a bit more of an echo, as in it reverbed out longer. So the sample rate was actually slower, and therefore it had a bit more of a duration to it. So it sounded like the echo of something, not the echo of the gunshot, not the initial crack of sound. Now for some reason over here I couldn't see the wavelength, so I was doing it by ear, finding where the sound was coming from. I could see the initial one, but there's another spike here, and I was making sure that I had them in time so I could see them quite clearly. Now the pitch, I wanted to change the pitch again so that it really was a long echo of the gun sound, just so that there was no initial pop whatsoever, without removing it. Because I thought that if I removed it, because this is what I was originally doing, taking out the beginning, I felt like if I removed the initial pop, it ruined the sound slightly. It didn't sound as if it was as if it had already happened. So I've left the entire sample in there, the entire pop, and so the initial crack of sound, and I've just decreased the pitch by a very long way. Now here I'm trying to EQ it so that you get the high pitch, high frequency sound, and from that with that high frequency sound, it just sounds more as if you're next to the gun sound. You can notice more in the video, in the final video, that it has a lot of it's quite directional. It sort of feels like it is coming towards the camera because the bullets are essentially going towards the camera. That's what I was aiming for, it's quite a direct sound, and therefore I wanted it to come across that way by having a sort of high-pitched sound. It was more visceral. It was more direct to the viewer, in my opinion, of course. Yeah, over here what I was doing also was adding a bit of reverb. This was to add to the effect of it being the echo of the sound. It was to add space to it, so the gunshot was all surrounding, regardless of which direction it came from, and therefore whether it was left or right. It still had a feeling of sort of encasing you. The sound was encasing you. It wasn't just a case of it's going from the right ear or the left ear. It's wrapping around you. Now over here, because of the lengthening, because of when I was pitching it down, there was too much of a space between them, and therefore it wouldn't have been in time with the film. So instead what I've done is I've selected both of them, and I'm going to move them to the beginning of the track, to the beginning of where I want the scene to be. And here, for some reason or another, I managed to scroll across to the next page, so I apologise. Just bear with it, sorry. Yeah, we're getting near to seeing it. You can see in the top left-hand corner, there's the two policemen shooting the clown in the doorway. As you're travelling past them, I wanted the first gunshot to be heard as you're going past it, but in this case it was a little bit too late. So I've taken off the beginning, so there's more of an echo of the sound, and I'm going to drag it back a little bit just so that it's on time with the video. Also, I think there's too much of the sound afterwards, after the shot's actually been fired, or after the camera's moved past it at least. So I think a dead stop with reverb would sound better, which is what I've done. Now the problem is with them now, because it's so low, it's with the low drone sound that's within it, it doesn't actually sound, it's not very audible. So I've pitched the left one up again, the left on screen, sorry. I've pitched that back up so that you can hear both of them. But they're still long enough. Now I just wanted the first one to kind of add to the effect of having an initial sound, having quite a visceral sound, so I have reduced that again, but not as much as previous. And I've reduced the second sound so that it is just the echo of the sound, and therefore again a lot more encasing it, it's a lot more surrounding, the sound is. And as you can see, they're pretty well in line. I'm just going to tidy up the ends. Now we have 1 and 2, and as you can see, that's the I added a bit more reverb to it as well, so that you could get it lasted longer and therefore fit better with the piece. I wanted it to, as you can see, I changed the spread on it as well, so that, again, regardless of where it came from, you were engulfed in the sound. Yeah, that was the recording for the gunshot sounds, the explanation of how I got the sound. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.